Okay, so but first of all, we heard that Flutterwave got hacked.
Yep.
Sometime in February, right?
Yes.
And hackers made away with
2.9 actually.
$2.9 billion. Naira. Okay, so can you give us a gist very, very briefly? Because I want to actually get more behind the scenes stuff that has been going on since then.
Yeah, so the gist is just that, we saw a letter written by Flutterwave's lawyer to the police asking them to get a court order to freeze some accounts because their Flutterwave accounts were hacked and 2.9 million naira left those accounts, and they need to freeze the beneficiaries of the destination of that money. So it happened. The letter was sent around February 13, and the letter said it happened 2 weeks ago, which means the hack happened around February 5th, 6th, thereabouts. And there were a lot of people accounts that were frozen, around 107 accounts, and not just those 107 accounts. 107 accounts that those 107 accounts sent money to other accounts, so they will freeze those accounts, freeze the people they sent to, the people those ones sent to. So
up to how many?
Up to like five
generations.
Exactly.
like biblical times where the curse will follow you to the the father and the son and the son's son and son's son. Yeah. Okay, that's
so
fine.
They froze all those accounts, and we actually saw people coming online saying, "Oh, my accounts have been frozen," corroborating the story that this thing actually happened. And
Flutterwave came and said,
yes, Flutterwave, they released a statement saying there was no hack. They were only doing routine checks, and then they discovered that some people had not activated some security features, and they already handled the whole thing before anything happened. But I mean, obviously, from the amount of people that were saying their accounts were actually frozen, it means something actually happened. And we actually spoke to someone who, uses Flutterwave for his business, and told us that his clients' accounts wasn't even frozen. His clients' accounts were hacked, and some monies were stolen from that account. He showed us screenshots of, those accounts leaving those monies leaving Flutterwave, which proves that there was actually an hack. Interestingly, if you think maybe Flutterwave would not come out and say there was an hack, but they would tell people using the platform that, oh, this is the reason why money left your account, because we got hacked. But they didn't say anything. They only told them, oh, change your API key. Generate a new API key, because so I'm leaning towards the fact, and most people are leaning towards the fact, that it was done via API. How exactly? Not sure yet. I think there are a lot of technical details there, but the fact that Flutterwave is saying change your API key, and the fact that the person we spoke to said that he didn't see anyone go into the dashboard to authorize those things, right? When you ask someone, right, maybe I get your password, I pretend to be you, I go to your bank app, I know your PIN, I send money out. That's one thing. But nobody opened your bank app, nobody entered your bank app. Money was just going. It means it wasn't. It had to be something. It was done remotely in a way. Yeah. So the person is leaning towards it was done with API. But I think since that story came out, we've been uncovering a couple of things. Okay. Actually, like really interesting things, like possible hackers of Flutterwave, right? And I need to mention that nothing is absolutely certain yet, but based on the dots we are connecting, something interesting is really going on.
Okay, so one of Flutterwave's biggest investors, Mr. Osareti Asemota, Victor Osareti Asemota, claimed that no hack happened, and the lawyer, the screenshots being shared around,
was not
Flutterwave's lawyer. So how are you thinking about that?
So I think it's pretty obvious, right? Because why would a letter, signed by the court, right? Because after the letter was sent, the police wrote to the court saying that they supported Flutterwave's motion to freeze those accounts. Those were actual court documents.
So it's actually conceivable that companies could have lawyers on their retainer, but decide to use a different lawyer for a particular case. Probably it's too sensitive to give it to their main lawyer. Maybe to bring too much attention to investors and all of that. So they give it to someone else. What do you guys think?
I think it's a possibility, but I think the important thing to take away from here is this thing actually happened, which is obvious. It's obvious with the fact that people are saying, because people said their banks contacted them and said Flutterwave said we should freeze your account. So why is Flutterwave freezing my account? I have no business. A lot of these people have no business with Flutterwave. They've never used Flutterwave. So why is Flutterwave freezing my account?
You know, you are quiet. You didn't freeze your account.
No, this is not. So it's obvious that something definitely happened. If I have no business with you and you got a court order that my account should be frozen, it means you probably followed the trail of money. Maybe someone stole money from your account and you followed it to my account. If you can prove that to the court, they will give you, the authorization to get my accounts frozen so that the money does not leave. Right.
Okay.
So what we found so far is who exactly did this hack, and we got a screenshot of someone who uses Flutterwave, and then he showed us the account, his client's account on Flutterwave, and there was a particular name. I don't want to mention the name for now, but there's a particular name that money went to. So there was the first transfer of around a little over 4 million naira that went. It was a successful transfer. There's another one of around 4 million naira, also successful. The person tried. You will notice that the person keeps trying. He's probably not sure how much is there, but the person keeps trying a certain amount, tries lower again, but then he tried twice again, lower and lower, and it didn't go again. So the account was emptied, right? So the name where the account was going actually came forward on Twitter and said, it wasn't an illegal transaction. It was a legal transaction, and they should allow...
Why are you lowering your voice?
And they should allow wherever the money has gone to, whoever he has sent the money to be able to access the money. And then the person who got hacked said, "You're telling me money left my account to this person's account that I did not authorize, my money that I did not authorize, and you're telling me it's illegal."
So maybe this story would help if you give these people names.
Okay, so let's say
Jendo.
Jendo, that sounds familiar. Okay,
sorry,
let's use John Doe.
John Doe and Jendo. Okay.
Yeah, John Doe and Jendo. Okay, so John Doe was where this particular Flutterwave client, right, where he saw his money going to.
John Doe is the Flutterwave client.
No, John Doe. Okay, the Flutterwave client. Let's call him Tayo.
Musk. Okay, Tayo.
Okay. Tayo saw his money going into John Doe's account, and then someone came to Twitter. Let's call that one Sarah. Sarah came to Twitter saying, please, I sent some money to John Doe. Please, it's not an illegal transaction. It's actually a legal transaction. I think they mentioned the amount. He said, I sent a total of 220 million naira to John Doe. Please, it's a legal transaction. Let John Doe be able to access this money. And then, what did I call the Flutterwave client?
John Doe.
Tayo.
Yeah. Tayo. So Tayo says, wait, you sent money to John Doe. I saw money leaving my account to John Doe's account.
Of that same amount?
Yeah. No. Not of that same amount.
Okay.
But the fact that money left my account to John Doe's account without my knowledge. Okay. And you are saying you legally transferred money to John Doe, which means you know John Doe.
Okay.
Where my money went to. So, which means you are probably the one that came to my account to send money to John Doe.
So John John Doe is the money laundering funnel. Is that it?
That is
let's
probably
give it a belt.
John Doe is probably the money laundering for now. No,
not okay. Let's not.
Sarah is probably the one laundering the money.
Yes, but it's a funnel now. You don't go like when you are pouring for, you don't pour it directly.
Yeah,
you use a funnel.
Some people do.
So
you waste the fuel now.
It's a lot of stuff, and then some companies were mentioned. For now, also I don't want to mention those companies, not to, so that it won't affect some of the investigations we are running. I don't know which other outlets or police are also running investigations, so it doesn't affect these things. But something definitely happened, and I think it will be best for Flutterwave to find a way to let people know exactly what went wrong. Maybe not reveal so much that it now prevents them from getting back these monies, right? Because something obviously went down. Obviously.
Okay. So I'm thinking, this is a lot to take in. So in summary, if you've been following this, Tayo lost his money and the money was sent to John Doe. Sarah came online and said, please, I sent money to John Doe and freeze his account too. Then Tayo is saying, Sarah, okay, no problem. So, but the main issue now is the way Flutterwave has handled this, and I see a lot of Nigerian startups handle this, and it's easy for me to come and say they could have handled the communication better, especially for the other not so positive stories that have come out about them, and it's not just them. Many Nigerian startups, it's either there's denial, or no comment, or
gaslighting.
Yeah, gaslighting. But from the outside, it's easy to see all this. So I'm actually trying to think about it from Flutterwave's perspective. My God. So when the news broke, there were lots of comments, right? Fintech is the ghetto, right? And all of that. But the overwhelming comments from people I could see on Twitter was, these people, how can you be a financial unicorn and you don't handle your security well?
I mean, everybody gets hacked.
Even
Microsoft gets hacked.
Microsoft, Facebook, they've all gotten security breaches at one point or the other.
Yeah.
And even big American banks. I mean, someone scammed the great JP Morgan.
Why not?
Please.
Say why not? So, but
there's nobody too big to be scammed.
That's just it.
Nobody too big to be hacked. And there's, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but your firewall is only as good as your employees and the humans that you're working with. You can have the best security, you can have the best firewalls, but as long as humans are the ones operating that thing, vulnerability can come in anywhere. The person can just leave his phone lying somewhere carelessly and people can access. You should contact Akintunde Sultan to give you like a refresher on cybersecurity. But I think what happens is most companies focus so much on beefing their security infrastructure technically, but
they don't educate their
employees, right? They feel like, regular content marketer does not have anything, but you don't know what
at all
might happen, right? You don't know what emails might be getting to people's hands. So I think that's a key takeaway. And I mean, better communications from startups.
Very important.
But to be fair, I am pausing and saying, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes from Flutterwave perspective. Nigeria, Africa is a very unforgiving place.
True.
When people no longer trust you. You can...
we're very low trust society.
Does that excuse some of the disastrous communication we've seen? So people don't...
People do it out of fear. They do it out of fear.
I also think that they do it... I don't know, but it comes off as you being dishonest, man. That's the way it comes off for me. So you are a business and there's an operational risk that comes with operating in that space, and for some reason that risk happens or that danger actually happens to you, and your first response is to either attack the people. Sometimes you may not even do it through your official handles, but you try to discredit the sources of these stories that were broken. It doesn't look like something that a very, very honest person does. And like you mentioned in the last 1 year, we've seen startups that had like unsavory news about them come out, and usually the first thing is to go on the defensive. So I get the part where you say something that isn't so good about me, and then I go on the defensive. But for Christ's sake, you are a business. You're not just a random person on the street. You're a business, and when this thing happens, your first, I don't know, I'm not a PR person, I'm not a crisis consultant or anything like that, but I really think a lot of startups don't understand what crisis communication entails. Because why is your first response always defensive? Every single time we see this happen, something bad happens and you're going on the defensive to fight people. Why is that your response every single time? And yeah, I may be sounding like a broken record, but Flutterwave in their own case, every single time it has always been the brand storyteller making these statements. I don't know whether you're trained in crisis communication, or I don't know if you have experience of on doing that, but it doesn't make any sense that your brand storyteller is a person doing crisis communication, except the person is qualified to do that, right? Flutterwave has a PR team that works for them, and this is probably where you just chill and say, oh, let my PR team handle this.
Maybe PR team just gave her the copy and she posted it.
If the PR team was the one that has always come up with their responses, then maybe they should be looking for a new PR team.
Oh my God.
Oh my
All